now I'm honored to introduce our guest speaker for the day. Lorraine Mafasire is a strong believer in personal growth and proof that hard work and purpose changes lives. That's so true. She started and designed women's and program that helps women find their confidence and regain a sense of direction in life through workshops and events. Born in Zimbabwe, Lorraine studied economic science at the University of the Witwatersrand. She now works as an executive manager at Outsourced CFO, where she supports businesses and stays focused on helping others succeed. Before this, Lorraine worked at a senior recruitment consultant, where she connected people to jobs by looking beyond qualifications to see their true potential. She also helps students from difficult backgrounds to take their first steps towards their careers. This is lovely. Today, Lorraine wants to remind you that the care, strength, and dedication that you show every day as caregivers are incredible gifts. The path may be challenging, but your work has the power to change lives, including your own.
Thank you, Tanya, for the wonderful introduction. And I am excited to be standing in front of you ladies. It is a massive thing to get a qualification. You heard that I'm originally from Zimbabwe. I am a farm girl. If you ask me anything about farming, I don't know anything about farming. But what I do know is about working a 9-to-5, starting your own business, staying motivated, and reaching some, if not all, of your goals. So I'm here to encourage most of you. Some of you are going to start looking for jobs. Some of you are going to start your own business and hire people. What I'm going to share, I hope it encourages each and every person. The most life-changing things are free. Sometimes we think, oh my gosh, if I get a job or if I marry a millionaire, all my problems are going to be over. And I've realized that the most important things are in your control. The most life-changing things are in your control. So what are these things I'm talking about? And I'm going to share 6 things. If you can come up with some, you can come to me and say, Lorraine, you should add this to your list. The first thing is identity. Who are you? You could be a mother. You could be a graduate. You could be working. You could be employed somewhere. You could be a lot of things in one. But we must take time to have clarity on who we are and not just get taken with the wind. It all starts with you are this. And for the Christians in Habakkuk, it says, write the vision down. Make it plain so that those who run with it will run with it. It's important to take the time to know who you are because the world will push back and try to define you. The second thing is your why. Why are you sitting here today? Maybe it's because you're passionate about caring for people. Maybe it's because you want to make money, and that's not a wrong thing. Maybe it's because it looked like the only path. We have many whys. Maybe you're doing it for your child at home, to make money for your child at home. All those whys need you to clear, because there will come a time when you don't want to keep going, and your why will keep you going. Write your why down. Understand your why. I remember, so she shared that I got a degree in economics at Wits University in Joburg. And I remember that when we were in class, people would come to us and say, we're going to get a job. Like, banks would come and say, we want you. And I thought, oh my gosh, when I finish school, I'm going to work for Standard Bank. I'm going to have a big car and I'm going to be living at large. It took me 8 months to get a job. And in those 8 months, I struggled. At some point, I was living on 12 rands a day. I don't know how I managed, but I only had 12 rands that day, and I knew, okay, 12 rands has to last. Your why will keep you going when you're down. It wasn't easy. And then how I moved to the next step, at some point I moved from looking for economic jobs to looking for just a job. Because when push comes to shove, you're like, okay, I need to make money. And then I applied for this job. It was a 2-week job. Just an admin assistant. They said, we're just looking for someone to repay someone who's sick. I will move on to my next point. An attitude of excellence, that is free. You can control your attitude, and an attitude of excellence can result in your next promotion. That you can control, your attitude. So they hired me for 2 weeks and I was excellent, right? I made sure I worked hard. And the boss came to me after 2 weeks and said, I'm going to pay so you write recruitment exams and I want you to come work for us. I wrote the exams and I made sure I had the highest mark like in the company. And people who trained me, I became their bosses. I became a senior recruiter after 8 months of working there. Because I couldn't control everything else, but I could control how I show up. So when you get employed, for the people who are not employed, you can control how you show up. An attitude of excellence will always result in promotions. I know of employers who have bought their employees cars. I know of employers who have paid for university fees for their employees. So you cannot tell me that you can't control how you show up. So we talked about who you are, your why, your attitude of excellence. The next thing is your network. I know surely by now you know who you hang around with matters, right? I am standing here because my friend Zekobene is in China. She heard me speak and he said, Tanya, use Lorraine. Who are your friends? Even the Bible says, do not sit in the counsel of the wicked. They are friends that will bring you down, and they are friends that will recommend you to other people. You can control who your friend is. It matters who your network is. And with that, I said I'm a farm girl, right? So I'm going to give farm examples. So back in the day, before tractors, because some of you are young, before tractors, we used to use oxen, right? It's like a big cow, yeah? So we used to use an oxen to pull a plow for the field. And it's amazing that in nature that one ox can pull 762 kgs, right? One ox can pull something that's very heavy, but 2 oxen can pull 3 times 762, not double. I want you to understand the maths here. So one can pull a certain amount, but when you're now doubled, we can do way more. So what I'm trying to say is if you have a friend, if you are joined, if you're helping each other, you can do more than double what 2 people can do. It matters who your network is. All right. And then I'm still on my way to explaining. I've talked about identity. I've talked about why. I've talked about an attitude of excellence. I've talked about your networking. And then another thing is integrity. So someone defined integrity as who you are when no one is looking. Who are you when no one's looking? And most of all, would you hire you is the biggest question. Because sometimes when the boss is gone or whatever, who are you when no one is watching you? That person needs to be a person of excellence. So I know that sometimes when you're writing a CV, because I used to interview people a lot, and sometimes we're tempted to be like, oh, I don't have experience, and this, like, I don't have enough experience. Why someone who drives, you should be driving, but at that time you're not driving. Your CV can just make sure it's true to who you are, because it's enough. I'm here to tell you it's enough. It's enough. You don't need to edit it weirdly. Write a true CV, but let it express who you are. It's enough. Because at the right time, if you have an attitude of excellence, as I said before, you will get an opportunity and you will get promoted. So integrity, who are you when no one's watching? And would you hire you? Work in such a way that you would hire yourself. Then last but not least is, I think Tanya also touched on it, is do not give up. I told you that I thought with my degree and my good grades, I would immediately get a job. I really thought that. But 8 months, it wasn't an option going back home for me. I wanted to make it work here. 8 months, I couldn't get a job. You have to keep going. Some days you don't feel like it, but you have to keep applying. Make the right friends. Go to the right places. Network. Do not give up. You cannot win if you don't stay in the ring. You have to keep going. And my last story as a farm girl. So I like animals, and I'm sure we all know what a butterfly is, right? So yeah, we all know what a butterfly is. And I've been reading on the life cycle of a butterfly, and I'm sure some of us know that a butterfly, it starts out as a caterpillar, right? It's a worm, it's on the ground. And then it goes through a process called metamorphosis. So metamorphosis just means transformation, it means change. So a caterpillar gets into a cocoon and it starts being stewed in that cocoon. It's in a cocoon for 2 to 4 weeks. I am here to tell you that you're here, you've gotten your qualifications, and you are being stewed, you're being created. The great version of you is being created, right? You will face situations, good and bad. You're being stewed, you're being cooked, you're moving from a caterpillar to a butterfly. So I'm here to say, no matter what you face, no matter what challenging situations you go through, sometimes you get a hard employer. Sometimes when you're starting your own business, it'll be tough. You're not making profit. Whatever hard situation you face, you're being stewed. But at the right time, you will break forth and become a butterfly. You are butterflies. Okay, thank you.